Welcome to the Business Buyer Diaries. My name is Nathan Platter. I'm a full-time employee, and I bought a business. I did everything right, from finding the deal, handling all the due diligence on 63 opportunities, and ultimately bought a profitable gym. And boy, was I in for a big surprise as a new owner. I chronicled everything in real time, including the biggest wins to the stressful nights at 2 a.m. I'm sharing my journey without sugarcoating anything, so you don't make the same mistakes that I did. Here's today's episode.
So it was kind of funny. Well, I guess we'll talk about the deal, and then we'll talk about the lesson I'm learning from yesterday. So yesterday went well. The purchase agreement, I put in the things that I wanted. So and then the seller had some stuff that they wanted, and then the broker sent it over to me. I docu-signed it, and then sent it over to the seller. Seller liked it. They had one or two clarifying questions. One was like the seller financing interest rate. I gave them a certain rate. They wanted a little bit more, and it looks good. I'm fine with paying a tad more for a fair rate for them as well. So they'll get a little bit out of that. And then the other one was the non-compete zone. So I'm intending to expand to. I live in the Twin Cities, and so the main core Twin Cities area is pretty well developed, and I'm aiming to expand outwards. So into more of a suburb space where I see some opportunity, and so I wanted to cast a really big size non-compete area so that if the seller decided they wanted to expand and stay in the same brand, they could, or it'd be harder for them to. And so they said, hey, could we, in one of the addendums, could we do some stuff where they can do like some personal training, or they can do some like small group, like 4 people and under group coaching. And I was more concerned to make sure I can expand the brand, that they're not going to, pitch or pull away my members to some of their clubs, because they have a very magnetic, the seller is a very magnetic personality. They're very good at member engagement. And so I was always paranoid that, of course, they're going to start up more of the locations of the same brand or similar brand and pull members away to a different club. So I'm loosening up that a little bit, still letting them do some personal training, some group coaching. Obviously still not the same brand, but the franchisor has their own limitations on that. But if they want, so these are like kickboxing fitness studios, but if they wanted to do like a cycling studio or I'm trying to think of something comparable, like if they want to do like a rock climbing fitness studio, then they could. That's still health and wellness, but that's not the same member, sniping that it otherwise could be. So that was something that I wanted to get clarification with them on. And then, what else? Yeah, so the thing that I was learning was the whole concept of schmoozing, which has been kind of fascinating. So just realizing I got it back up here. So as the deal gets closer to closing and I'm going to start like meeting the staff, I realized like I'm so used to being the employee, the W-2, it's not the right term, but like asking up, like, hey, I'd like a promotion. I'd like a pay raise. I'd like to not just work at these 1 or 2 locations, but I like to work at like all 5 locations. Like that's something that I would do, and taking that initiative and having those kind of conversations. And it was kind of funny, just realizing I'll be on the tail end of that. So people will be coming to me for promotions. They'll be coming to me for more hours. And they're, hopefully there's no drama, but I'm sure there will be elements of drama to deal with their like trainer to trainer or like member to trainer kind of issues. And so realizing people will be asking, like having these asks of me, but then also like asking for these things that vendors as well. Like, hey, here's a free sample. Here's a gift card. Here's a basket. Here's a I don't think it'll happen, but here's a trip to our corporate club in Malibu, Hawaii. All expenses paid for you, your wife, and 2 friends. Like, I've been a corporate employee, and I've taken these classes on like bribing and gifts and stuff, and like it's a black and white no. And now realizing like I'll legitimately, likely be on the recipient end of this, and so figuring out like, what are my personal policies, what are my conducts, what am I accepting of, and what am I a hard line no on. And just knowing and thinking about those things, because I want to pay people more. I want to give people a career opportunity. And, a trip to Malibu sounds kind of fun. Like, I don't know if I said Hawaii or Malibu, but like these vendor schmoozings, they're appealing. They're They're easy gifts to receive when there's no strings attached, but there's also the optics, there's also the ethics, financial reporting to the IRS, and just all these complexities I never had to deal with because no one's ever tried to bribe up to me before. And so just figuring out what are my codes of conduct? What do I want to accept as like a legitimate gift versus like a bribe? And so those are just things I'm starting to think about. Caught up with a friend yesterday who I knew from the real estate days and threw out some of these things to him, asked how he's handled it. And that was really helpful as well too. And along with that, podcasts I was listening to, someone that's made it like they're worth millions and millions of dollars. So I don't even know, but like it was one of the podcasts with someone who owns like a supplement company. They're very wealthy. They can retire and their kids and grandkids could probably be set for life. But one of the things that they talked about is they don't expand their circles, their spheres of circles. When people see that you're worth $100 million, everyone wants to be your friend. When you're worth 10 million, a lot of people want to be your friend. When you're worth $1 million, many people want to be your friend. But when you're like dirt broke, which I have been, your friends that are there are your friends for you, not because of what they can get from you. And when you make it, there's a great film. Well, there's a lot of films like with like boxers specifically, but there was one I saw. Who was it? Jake Gyllenhaal and what's her name? Adams. I can't remember. But basically, a story of a boxer who like makes it. They're now filthy rich. They're wealthy, and like all of their friends are fake, and only like their core like childhood friends are like they're legit friends. And in the movie, some of their friends are moochers and leeches, and they make it obvious. But the whole concept of like, are your friends real friends, or are they friends that want to be part of your entourage? And so part of the schmoozing theme, I suppose, is how are people wanting to be with you? Is it because of the stuff you provide? Is it because of your personality, or you're a quality human being and they want to be like that and they want that around them? So that's something that I've been thinking about a little bit. And obviously I'm not going to be an overnight millionaire. Obviously I'm not going to be an overnight 10, 100 millionaire. But these are things to be thinking about as being a business owner. There's certain labels that get attached to you, true or not, it starts to adjust it. So figuring out who are your real friends, your core friends. And for me, like I've done that too. I've been the fanboy, or someone like, hey, you made it. One friend in particular, not in particular, but like one friend was kind of like a nerd in high school. And then he like got his MBA. He went to like this very prestigious school, and now he's like a consultant at like Bain Company. And I realized like my knee-jerk reaction is like, oh, this guy was okay, but like now he's this cool person. He's smart. He's successful. I want to be around this person. And in the moment, I just stopped myself because we were like colleagues, not even friends, and I don't want to feed that habit that I was being drawn into. And so just knowing like, if I see someone who's successful or they've done well for themselves and I like legitimately want to be their friend because they're a quality person, they just happen to be financially well off, how can I approach them as a friend and have that long tail relationship and not just be another moocher that's going to be asking them for money or favors or connections, but like to legitimately provide value into their life where I can be a trusted friend for them. So the whole concept of relationships getting a little more complex, not just with employer-employee, but also friend to friend and peer to peer. Because people, I'm sure, will start to treat you differently, whether it be friends or family members that are now wanting a job, or they want to some help on the personal front. I guess you naturally have to be a little more guarded from that, but also not cynical as well. So yeah, that's I'm thinking out loud. Don't have a definite answer, but I want to say it's rich person problems, but I'm not rich like that. And so I'm rich in friends. I'm rich in my faith life. I'm rich in my friend life. Not rich in my financial life. At least I don't think so. I just think it out loud. Stuff to be contemplating, and whatever like codes of conduct I set up for myself. What codes of conduct do the people I want to be around set up for themselves? Because I want to be like those people, the good people, not the snakes that will take a bribe and now you can join their inner circle and be in a crowd of other snakes.
This has been another episode of the Business Buyer Diaries. Subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. I hope you're realizing that business ownership is no cakewalk. Check the podcast notes for a link to the DIY due diligence program, the complete list of show sponsors, and for media inquiries. Music written and composed by Wes Schrock. I'm your host, Nathan Platter. Join me again on the next one.